to get through each day. I spent a lot of time on the Tester farm where Jon and Charla always made me feel welcome. And when the time came, he gladly opened his home, family, and heart to me. Since then, the entire Tester family has shown me the opportunities that come with a good education, a strong faith, and hard work. And because of Jon, I started believing in myself, and I strived for a positive future. He gave me confidence and showed me kindness, generosity, and grace. Jon supported me as I made it through college and cheered me on after I graduated and was hired as a new Montanan teacher. Jon and Charla were there whenever help was needed. They've stood by me when I got married and when I had my own children, and I share with them all my joys, all my struggles, my hopes and dreams. As a teacher, I encourage my young students to be good role models and to always be kind to others. I strive to make a difference in their lives every day, and I do this in honor to pay forward to the values that Jon instilled in me. This is the Jon Tester that I know and that I love and respect. He is a good and honest man who lives by the values we share as Montanans. And thanks to Jon, I am proud to be a Montanan and proud to be a Tester. Montana, you are blessed to have him, and I am blessed to have him on our side. Now it brings me great honor to pass the mic to my sister, Christine Schultz.
Thanks, Mel. Mel, if you couldn't tell, is a kindergarten teacher, and I am a pediatric psychiatric nurse at Shodair Children's Hospital in Helena. Looking out for kids is a Montana value, and it's a Tester value. Dad has said over and over again how important it is to invest in future generations. One of his biggest drivers for running for the U.S. Senate are his grandkids. You know, a lot of people have asked, you know, how does he do it? How does Jon run the farm, still serve as U.S. Senator when he's in the middle of one of the biggest campaigns in the country? And I would say that the answer is easy, right? It's a lot of hard work, a lot of grit, and a lot of determination. I've seen Dad and Mom fly in late at night after a long week of being in D.C. and serving in the Senate, only to get up at the crack of dawn the next day to work the fields on the farm. You know, one of the values that I've been blessed enough to learn from them is that when there's hard work to be done, you do it. You don't wait. You don't wait for somebody else to do it. You roll up your sleeves and you get dirty if you have to. Jon's grandkids have had the opportunity to watch and learn from him as well, both in the Senate and on the farm. My daughter, Keely Kina, was 2 when Dad first ran for his first term. A lot has happened since then. I've had 2 more kids, Brayden and Tucker, as well as Melody. She's had Dallin and Abby. And I will say that these group of kids have very strong feelings about this election. If they could have voted, they would have cast their vote for Jon Tester. A lot of outsiders have tried to nationalize this race, making it into something that it's not and something that Dad's not. And you can't do that with Jon Tester. My dad has always made Montana the center of this race. He's a 3rd-generation Montana and the only working farmer in the Senate. He's remained true to his roots, and he's never forgotten where he's come from. So with that, it is my pleasure, on behalf of our entire family, U.S. Senator, Montana farmer, and our dad, Jon Tester.
So thank you all very much. And you know, I go upstairs to check a few numbers, and these guys write speeches. Look, thanks, kids. I appreciate it very, very much. And to Charlotte, look, we did it. For those of you that don't know, and I don't think anybody knows this, AP has just called this race in favor of it. And would not, absolutely, as you guys know, as you guys just saw, I mean, I wouldn't be here without my wife, Charla. my kids, my brothers, my best friend from high school, Steve Sivers back here. It's, and the countless volunteers. I mean, everybody in this room and literally thousands of other people have spent incredible amounts of their free time to walk around this state and to talk about how important this race was, and I want to thank you for that. And to my staff, many that are in this room, there wasn't a day that didn't go by for the last 2 years that these folks didn't think about what we needed to do to make sure that I was able to be here for a third term. And so I want to thank them, but most importantly, I want to thank the people of Montana.
Thank you, Jon. Thank you, Jon.
This was an interesting race, and I will tell you that everywhere I went around the state, people would say, "Geez, those ads," and I will tell you that I'm as happy for this race to be over as anybody for that reason.
Amen.
But the fact is that if we turn the clock back, right after I won my first race and got appointed to the Veterans Affairs Committee, I had listening session. This was early in 2007. I'm not a veteran, but I felt it important, since 1 in every 10 Montanans is a veteran, that we hear as quickly as I possibly could from the veterans in this state. And I will never forget the first meeting, because the first meeting I had a Vietnam vet stand up and say, "You're not going to treat this group of veterans like we got treated." And I took that to heart. And every day, every day for the past 12 years, I've thought of that, man. And we've done everything we can do, and we've got a lot more to do to live up to the promises we made our veterans of this country. The fight is not over yet. To the man that's a retired U.S. Army in the doorway, we've got more work to do, and we will do it. Because that's what's made this country great, is people working together. And not just Democrats, but Republicans and independents, libertarians, working together the same way my grandparents did when they built that red barn that you see on that sign right there, working with their neighbors to build it. Same way that my parents did when they built the community hospital in Big Sandy. The community came together. That's what makes this country great. And I would love to tell you that this country is on the cusp of all coming together, but it isn't. It may be more divided today than it was yesterday. I don't know. But I can tell you that we need to work together in this country. We need to hold people accountable for their actions, and that will be done. And we need to make sure that we move forward in a way that we have the strongest middle class ever. That's been the envy of the world. And it will continue to be the envy of the world if we have policies coming out of Washington, D.C. that make sense for our middle class and our small businesses. And that includes things like making sure that we have public lands and access to them. That includes things like Social Security and Medicare, making sure that they're there for our kids and our grandkids. That includes things like taking care of our veterans. It includes things like making sure that health insurance is affordable, and making sure that folks with pre-existing conditions can stay on the policies. These are issues that we all need to come together on and fight for and work to make this country a better place. I want to congratulate Matt Rosendale on a hard-fought race. This was a tough race. It was a race that broke records, both, I believe, when it's all said and done, and the number of people who have voted in our great state, and the amount of money that was spent. An unprecedented amount of money was spent in this race. It was a race that saw the President of the United States come here 4 times. It was a race that saw his son come here probably that many times. The Vice President came here 3 times. But I want to say that Montanans spoke loud and clear about the direction they want Montana to go and the direction of our state. Because Montanans know the challenges we face. Montanans know what we need in this state as a rural state to make sure that we can compete in the 21st century. And quite frankly, I hope the president comes back. Many times, I do, but not for political rallies. In all seriousness, not for political rallies.